Hello and welcome, Shesh Vitai. This is episode 9 of
Pierogi to Perfect English. Effie or Steph here, joined by the amazing James today.
the amazing James, reporting for our 9th episode. Steph, we were talking earlier actually about what to explore on today's podcast. We've got a pretty good idea, haven't we?
We do. I've had quite a few students lately, and speaking with you earlier, you've had the same situation where you've recently picked up some of the kids of one of your students to learn. And it made me think I get quite a few requests from all of my students and how they can better support the people in their life that they love to also speak English.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often I get to teach children, but I really do enjoy it. They're amazing learners, I find, if you can engage them well, if they're having fun while they're learning. But yeah, the speed of which they learn is just amazing. It's really awesome. So I do enjoy it. You can really see the progress quite quickly, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I've got just a few kids right now that are studying with me, and it's a great way not just for the kids, but also if you're also learning English, you'll find that you end up picking up a lot from being into your kids' lesson, listening in, so it's a really great opportunity to support learning for the whole family.
I completely agree, yeah. I think it's a great way to do things, and you know, it's bringing you closer to your child as well, because you're sort of doing this activity together. You're learning, growing, exploring together, and it's nice things to do for parents, I think. You know, typically we send our kids off to schools, and you know, they're in a classroom for 6 hours a day or something, and then they come home, and maybe we help them a bit with their homework. But I think having an opportunity to work with your children to support their learning is just really awesome. And you're right, you can learn a little bit along the way too, right?
Yeah, I think it's really valuable. I get a lot of students that ask as well, what can they do to help support their children? And I think one piece of advice that I give people often, or I hear the most from both my Polish students and in my days of being a school teacher, is I don't want to speak English with my children because my English is not perfect.
Yeah.
So this is a statement I'm sure we can both say is definitely not true. It's so valuable to speak English with your kids and give them that confidence to do it in the first place.
Yeah, so I'm frequently telling my adult students that perfection is not what we're trying to achieve here. What we're trying to achieve is communication. There is no perfect, and it's not something we should focus on. It's not something that should deter, meaning to put us off or stop us learning and exploring. It's good to just go in and sort of dive in, really, and do your best. And like kids do, they make mistakes. That's how they learn, from making mistakes and then trying again. Kids are pretty inspirational, actually. Very, very resilient, right?
Yeah, and I think parents can create that kind of comfort zone for them to help build the confidence that, from what I've heard, a lot of the kids can't get in a school system when they have a supportive family behind them. So I wanted to talk about, I guess, just a few easy tips and tricks that parents can implement at home if they want to support their children towards building those blocks for learning English.
That's awesome. So, yeah, give us a few tips. We're listening.
So I can also speak from, I guess, the opposite end of trying to encourage my daughter to speak Indonesian more, as English is the dominant language in our household. And I would say the easiest, simplest thing you can do is children's books at first, reading some stories. You know, if you want to keep Polish books or books in whichever language, that's fine, but introducing 1 or 2 a week will surprisingly also build your vocabulary.
Yeah, I mean, children, like many adults, are visual learners. So storybooks with pictures is a great way for people, children, adults to kind of immerse themselves in a story, to be able to not only learn the word but sort of see it in action. So I really like storybooks. I think it's an excellent way of learning.
You brought up a great point about being visual learners as well. And this is something I recommend, not even for people, for their children, for adults, for everyone, especially when you're just getting the basics and building vocabulary, is to put Post-it notes everywhere.
Post-it notes?
All over your house. Yeah, Post-it notes, especially if you can make it colorful. Put a Post-it note, chair, door, window. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it really does work when you're starting to build your basic vocabulary.
I can see the logic.
Expanding on that, you can make it fun, make it into a game. Okay. Sometimes with some of my students, I will have little games with them and tell them find something blue.
Like around the house or something, you mean?
Yeah, you have your Post-it notes. You can make it a little scavenger hunt. Find something that starts with the letter C, for example, and they'd have to go find the chair.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I think sometimes identifying household objects are pretty useful. Sometimes I do that on my lessons. I'll point to my nose or my eyebrows, or I'll pick up a stapler or something random that's lying around and say, okay, do you know what this is? And maybe they do, maybe they don't, but it's a good opportunity to learn about the things around you, the things that you use or see every day, those objects,
Exactly. So making it fun, put little notes, make it into games. Songs are an excellent way, just as much as we learn as adults. I had a review today with one of my students who's 7, and it was about body parts, and I got to my shoulders and she was stumped, but she literally started to sing head, and then she said shoulders, and I said yes. So anything you can do to make it fun and enjoyable for the kids and turn it into a game is such an easy way to engage them.
I wish I was a child again. Good times. What else did we were looking at a few things, didn't we? I think you sent me some information. Tips for partners. What was this section?
Yeah, I was just thinking as well, again, all of these lovely students giving us great ideas. I had a student this week. I hope she's having a beautiful holiday in Thailand right now.
I've got some students in Thailand as well, right at this moment.
Right this moment. Maybe they cross paths.
Who knows? Yeah, they're from Białystok. Well,
I'm embarrassed. I can't think of where my student's from. But
okay.
I'll ask her if she's met any other Polish people along her journeys. But she wanted to prep and wanted to practice just in case on her trip. But she made a comment that she's not that worried because her partner and everyone she was traveling with spoke exceptional English. So she didn't necessarily have to speak English.
It's a good excuse.
Yes, it is. And she wants to, and the desire was there. But I think sometimes when we're with someone, one of our partners is really strong in a language, it makes it a lot easier to use them as a crutch or to not have to be forced to speak English because you're constantly relying on someone else.
Yeah, I understand that. My wife obviously is Indonesian, so when we need to communicate in Indonesian, I generally leave her to do the bulk of the communication because she's so much more proficient. But it does mean that, I stay quiet and, she does the talking. I do want to change that. I'm working on it.
I learned out of pure necessity because my partner refused to speak Indonesian for me whatsoever. I'm divorced now, so you've got a better partner. But saying that jokingly, she does it out of love, and we do it out of love. We don't want to have our partner struggle. Sure. So I guess it's just bringing out, a bit more self-awareness if you do want to support that lucky person in your life to try to avoid doing all the talking for them.
Yeah, she does encourage me from time to time. It just sort of depends on what's going on, and how complicated things are. Sometimes they're just very complicated and needs a native to deal with it. But if it's like ordering food or coffee or something like that, then yeah, she can leave me to do those things.
Yeah, just being more conscious, giving your partner that chance, or asking them, hey, can you book the hotel for us? So it puts them in a position where they're able to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few. I've got a husband and wife as students right now. And another tip is just setting times of the day. And I know it can feel really awkward, but where it's, for example, English hour or English coffee morning or something in your household can be really helpful.
I do agree with setting times. I know everyone's different, but I use my Google Calendar on a daily basis and kind of arrange my day with a schedule. And some people often say to me, like, how do you find time for everything? I'm so busy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really busy too. I just allocate time to things. So I'm like, okay, there's 20 minutes in there. That's what I'm going to do during those 20 minutes. And it pretty much keeps me quite disciplined to the schedule. So I don't know, it's different for everybody, but I use a daily calendar to kind of maximize my time.
Yeah, I think that's a great way. And especially if you implement it into things you're already doing, or you're multitasking, as we say, killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
You're getting your quality partner time, your quality family time, and then just taking one time of the day. For example, at home in our house, we can't, we can't speak English at the dinner table. We have to speak our second language, Indonesian.
Okay.
So it's a nice way to bond with your children or your partner, to have certain times of the day where you're just speaking.
And your kids know a lot about Indonesian food and dining now. They know it well.
Yeah.
It's become as part of the daily culture. And I guess you could expand that to other things. So you start with maybe breakfast together and understanding that in whatever language you're practicing. And then you can move it into other areas of your life, your routine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say with doing this, though, especially with a partner, my mom always told me you can't learn with a partner, for example, driving, or you don't have the patience. It's always nice to do it gently. Don't correct them constantly and snap at them. Try to lead by example. So if you've noticed they've said something incorrectly, echo it back correctly to them.
Okay.
Instead of saying, hey, you said that wrong, and belittling. This goes with kids or your partner. If they've made a mistake, just repeat it correctly. If they asked you go to store, you could say back, yes, I went to the store.
Ah, yeah. So it's a more subtle correction than a direct.
Yeah, it's sensitive. You've got a romantic partner, and then there's that feeling, I guess, sometimes judgment or competitiveness. So just being soft with the people we love in our life, to encourage and support them in a loving way and not a really hypercritical way.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. It can be stressful learning as a family, I've had my challenges. My wife's tried to teach me, but she does get frustrated quite quickly. But I'll play her this podcast. Maybe she can adapt a little bit, be more patient with me.
Tips and tricks. I would say partners is tricky. Kids, but the hardest that I think would be tips for parents, where this can be really essential, that you're doing this very gently and very lovingly.
Yeah, I think naturally we should be supportive and encouraging and friendly to our children. I mean, everyone parents in their own way, that's a fact. But I think, if we support our kids and encourage them when they do well, and don't get upset if they make a mistake, because they're learning just like everybody is, right? So I think that's sensible, really.
Yeah, kids are a little more resilient, or they'll take that feedback a little easier than, say, your 67-year-old mother who's decided to learn this language or gets frustrated at having to operate a smartphone. So that, I guess, kind of added care and gentleness, especially if it's someone, your grandparents or your parents, that are trying to learn the language.
It's interesting you mentioned that, actually. I watched a documentary of some kind on YouTube a couple of days ago, and it was about brain plasticity, if I said that right, plasticity.
Plasticity, yeah.
Yes, and sort of some fairly new study which has concluded that although it's true, kids have amazing brain plasticity. Oh, please pronounce that correctly. Plasticity. Jesus, that's a tough word for me. Plasticity. Anyway, yeah, kids, they certainly do have really good, very plastic brains. But this actually continues all the way up into people's later years. Like, maybe not to the same degree, but they prove that people in their 80s and even their 90s are still creating new brain cells, new neurons, or whatever the science term is. And the two areas they picked on to keep your brain healthy were, one, regular physical exercise, and two was doing challenging things. So learning a language, or learning a new skill, or trying to fix something that maybe you don't know how to fix it, like learning new things. And when we get older, so what they said is, like, when we get older, it can feel really frustrating because it's like hard to learn a language when you're, my age or older. But that feeling you have that it's hard, that's your brain kind of fighting to create new brain cells. Basically, that's your brain growing, and that's why it feels hard. Yeah. But it's a good sign, and it's a natural sign that your brain is actually processing.
Using those muscles.
Sorry?
Using those muscles like the gym.
Yeah, exactly like the gym. So you go to the gym and you're like, oh my God, my body's killing me. But that's your body saying, thank you, I'm evolving now because you put me through that.
Like, it hurts, but it works.
Exactly. So it's quite a revelation, because I know when I speak to some of my older students, they can get quite frustrated, and I'd like to find a way to encourage them not to be. But I think that's probably a good message to say, if it's hard, if it kind of hurts your brain, that means it's working.
This is, hopefully inspiring, I would say. Encouraging.
I think so.
I guess giving them also the reasons or some of the benefits. For example, being able to communicate with their grandkids easier. You have a lot of people and students now that are moving overseas or have mixed marriages now, and their grandkids can't speak their native language. So trying to give them an incentive as to why they're learning, or things that interest them and directly appeal to them.
Yeah, motivation is a big thing, certainly.
And I would say not just for parents, anyone finding what appeals to them is definitely a lot more fun to learn a language when you can find what they're interested in.
Yeah, definitely. Going back to kids, that's the sort of thing I try and do. But I do it with adults as well. I try and really understand what sort of turns that person on, what they're fascinated by, what makes them smile, what makes them inquisitive, and try and explore those topics and things. And I think it's more satisfying that way, and more getting more out of it, because you're already interested in that kind of stuff, and you're adding language along the way, I suppose.
I'd recalled as well in my notes, and I've not done it personally yet, but this is actually something I heard from you that I have not employed yet.
Oh.
But this whole flip the script. And you said you've done this with your students and had really great success, where you pretended that you were the student and they were the teacher.
Kind of. I pretended. I did a role play. I've done some role plays where I I'm in a conversation with the student, but I've got terrible English skills, and I keep making mistakes. And the Polish person, the student, will be helping me learn and showing me where I've made my errors and explaining them. And yeah, so yeah, I haven't done it for a little while actually. So thanks for reminding me.
I know it's a
But it
reminder
does-
that I need to employ this, but
It's
I
good
think
fun.
it would work really well with your parents, where you can empower them and give them that confidence, and you might be surprised that they know some English words that you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It's good fun. It's good fun. And, when there's that student-teacher dynamic, it feels like one is more powerful than the other. Like, I'm the teacher, I'm the master. And it's a weird dynamic. So flipping that around is it's quite healthy, I think.
Yeah, it gives a way for the other person to be a little bit more bold, a little bit more confident, and not have some of those fears and barriers.
Yeah, not be the person that has to always be corrected. you know. Okay, was there anything else that you wanted to explore today with me?
No, I think more or less that's it. Just, I guess any small little rules or tips for the supporter. Maybe model, don't correct as much, try to be sensitive, try to be kind, so you make it fun and not something that's terrifying.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want to make things terrifying. That's no fun. Unless it's a horror film. Okay, well, I guess we'll wrap up here. It's Sunday evening. Oh, what time is it? 9 o'clock where I am. I think about 10 o'clock where you are. So you probably need to go and rest your bones.
Straight to bed. My old sore bones, my brain muscles will work again tomorrow.
All right, tomorrow's another day. Steph, thank you for joining me today. It's been really interesting subject to explore. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, nice chatting with you, James.
Take it easy, and we'll see you on episode 10, coming soonish. Bye-bye.
Bye.